Welcome to the first Behind the Business Chat. Every business has a story, and I'm setting out to learn the stories behind Chattanooga's businesses. This week, I had the wonderful opportunity to speak with the owners of Lookout Lavender. Now, I visited this farm for the first time last year, and I really enjoyed the experience. I brought my Floridian florist friend with me, and she loved it too. So this year, I decided to get the insider info about Lookout Lavender. So, let's meet the owners.
I'm Alice Marrin, owner of Lookout Lavender Farm, and this is my husband,
Bill. So how long have you been operating the farm? Like, when did you start? What was the first year?
Well, we bought it in 2016, 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it was a disaster. Do you want the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. It's a story. So we lived in Atlanta. We've always kind of had the dream. I call it Golden Pond. You're probably too young to remember that movie.
No.
It was a movie called On Golden Pond, and it was about that idyllic place where you spend the end of your life. So we were looking for our Golden Pond. We knew we didn't want to retire in Atlanta and wanted to find something more peaceful. Started looking, we've been looking for years, really, just kind of casually. And we had camped up at Cloudland. I have insomnia, so one night I'm on the iPad looking at listings, and this listing popped up for this farm. I said, Bill, it looks great, because there were certain things I wanted. I wanted pasture, I wanted a view, I wanted water, and I wanted an old farmhouse. And I wanted to not be right on the road. A lot of times farmhouses are like just so short, so right there on the road.
Right.
Saw this one, I thought, well, that's interesting. So we booked, called the realtor up here, and came up and walked the property, and we walked away and went, no way, it was such a disaster. I mean, what you see here was just covered in timbers and trash, and I mean, like, it was high, the brambles, and
I actually asked the realtor, what's the profile of somebody that buys a place that looks this bad?
Did you fit the profile?
yes, he said we did.
I cut him off actually, because I said it's not me, so you have to don't point back.
So it was awful. It was really bad. The house was in disrepair. It had been abandoned. The property had been abandoned for a number of years. But it had been loved at one point, so we were encouraged by that. But what happened is we walked away and just kind of rolled our eyes, but then we kept bringing it back up in conversation, like, well, maybe if we da-da-da, and if we da-da-da. So we decided, okay, let's go ahead and jump in and take the plunge. So after some negotiations, we bought.
And a very embarrassing offer. I went low, and
I was like, no.
They're going to hate us for that.
Yeah.
I said, well, it's what I would pay.
Well, you got to put so much money into just getting it usable.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're talking that much land and it being overgrown and the trash and everything.
Yeah. It was a money pit. It was a money pit.
Yeah.
And the house had, when I say we, it's not me, somebody took 5 snakes out of the house. So we had snakes. I can show you a picture. We had snakes in the house. We had rats in the house. The electricity didn't work. The plumbing didn't work. It had to be stripped out. That took about 1.5 years.
Wow.
And then this we kind of did at the same point, get the trash. And then once we kind of got some breathing room, we were like, okay, what are we going to do with this now? We don't want to just mow the grass. And we knew going back and forth to Atlanta, if we had animals or something that required a lot of babysitting, that they would die.
Yeah.
So this worked. We learned about it. We joined the Lavender Growers Association. In 2017, we took the plunge and planted about 400 plants the first year. Okay. Since we've added about 600 more, so we've got about 1,000. Every year we talk about adding more, but for some reason we never get to it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, because I recently did one on a strawberry farm in Dayton, and that's what she's like, I didn't realize how labor intensive strawberries are. Like, even though they're not hard to grow, but she's like, you have to work at it all year long. You plant them in September, then you have to protect them through the winter, and then they ripen in April. So it's a year-long process. It's
and when you're starting out from scratch, you don't have any of that maintenance to do. So it's actually easier to get started than it is to add on afterwards, because everything.
Right.
Another field creates more cutting and creates
More weeding.
more maintenance. So that whole cycle just gets bigger and bigger. And we've tried to avoid not having to add to direct labor, more direct labor than we already have to have to keep things up. So.
Yeah.
And so in April, we sold our house in Atlanta, so we're full-time here now. So we're no longer going back and forth.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't
So-
realize that you were still living in Atlanta too. Wow.
Jobs there, and
Yes.
but
That's a drive, isn't it? About how far was it?
2 hours.
Really, 2 hours from here even. Because I know it's like 2 hours from Chattanooga, so.
Yeah, it's just different. It's a different route,
route.
but it still takes about 2 hours.
Yeah. Because I guess you're not really taking the interstate as much as you are
No.
like the back roads.
It's an
Right.
hour
So-
to the interstate and an hour to our house,
Yeah.
but our former house.
How did you get into lavender? Like, what made you choose lavender? So you wanted this property, or you wanted not necessarily this property at
Bill
first,
and I
but
Bill and I aren't big planners. Would you agree with that?
Right.
We kind of,
More in the moment.
yeah.
yeah.
And so bought it, said, okay, now we've got to do something, but what's it going to be? And heard about a lavender farm that's closer to Atlanta, went to it, bought a plant, threw it in the ground. We have blueberries over there. Do you see those 3 rows of
Okay,
bushes?
I was wondering where your blueberry plants
Yeah,
were.
they're huge. Went over there one day and planted that lavender and it didn't die. So I thought. And we don't have that heavy red Georgia clay
Yeah.
here, which is difficult to grow. They don't like to be in damp, and we get a lot of rain. So our soil here drains better. So that was all good. So it didn't die, and I thought, okay, that's encouraging. And he was on board, went to this conference in Arizona, joined the group, went to a conference in January of 2017, and then bought the plants and took the plunge. So that's the year we bought bees too.
But the lead thing about lavender is that the deer will not eat it.
Ah,
So
yeah.
if you talk to anybody about growing anything up here, they all complain about deer eating the crop.
Yeah.
And they do not like lavender, which for us has really made it nice. We've tested that to the hilt because there are deer out here every night, and they do not get in the way at all for us. So it's been great.
Yeah. So what made you choose lavender then over, because you could have done anything?
Well, deer don't eat it. And
Right.
the thing with lavender is a lot of people say, I try to grow it and it always dies. But the thing is, if you get it in an environment where it's happy, it's very low maintenance. We knew it needed lots of sun. It's not shady. Our house in Atlanta was a lot of trees, so it's very wooded. So we had the sun. It likes well-drained soil. We get too much rain here, but that's okay as long as it's not sitting in water.
So you'll see we elevated
Yeah, we
Right.
all the beds.
right. It needs a high pH. So what we do with that is we add limestone to the planting material, and so the limestone in France where they grow, like in Provence, apparently they just grow in limestone rock. It's just
Oh, wow.
so adding limestone, and limestone here is prevalent. That's what all
Right.
the caves and stuff are. So
Yeah. I learned that's what turns a lot of the really bright blue waters that we have around here.
Oh,
It's
okay.
because of the limestone.
Okay.
When it breaks down, the crystals basically reflect and
Oh, no
make
kidding.
it more blue.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why.
The blue holes.
Yeah, that's why you know a lot of the natural water places around here. You'll notice some of them are like super bright blue and some are like less blue.
Yeah.
And that's probably the ones. The less blue probably don't have as much limestone as the other
Okay.
ones.
So
Yeah.
throw limestone in your lake.
Right.
So it became kind of
Yeah.
the perfect storm for us to do
Yeah.
lavender
Yeah.
as a lead product. And the other thing, we visited a number of lavender farms.
We continue to
above
do
and
that.
beyond. And
Yeah.
we still do that.
Yeah. We always
and
have something to learn.
And that's, I think other lavender farmers are a lot like us in that most of them are looking for a second career, approaching retirement, that type of thing.
Right.
We all try to help each other. So it's a great community of lavender growers that we've connected with, and that makes it more fun.
Yeah, it's neat that there's like a national association for it. 'Cause
Right.
I don't know a whole lot about farming, so I haven't really dug into it, but I don't know of any off the top of my head of any other kind of crops or anything that would.
Oh, I think there's probably a group for everything.
But
Probably.
it's a group that, it makes it very easy to collaborate, and when you have a problem to get an answer.
Yeah,
that type of
Facebook
thing.
group. You go help, send a picture, and you'll get a dozen or so responses. So it's been very helpful.
Yeah.
And anybody who wanted to do this, that's like, don't do it without joining that group.
I think the other thing about lavender, and Alice, when she shows you the store, can bring it to life, is the number of products you can make from lavender. So as much as we grow lavender, I think we probably, or I know Alice spends more time making products from lavender than we do, working even in the field. So
Yeah, because it's short season. In 2 weeks,
Right.
boom, gone. And the thing about sunflowers is it's an annual, so you plant it on a schedule. So you plant this field this week, this field the next week, and so you can stretch it out for a couple months. These sunflower farms can do that, where ours are perennial, and when they bloom, we don't have any control over that. We can't stagger it at all.
Yeah, we were on the topic of all the things you can make with lavender. So, since you mentioned that, that was making me think that is true, because it's like, say, strawberries, for instance. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot you can do with strawberries, but it's kind of streamlined to just food products.
Right.
Whereas lavender, you can do body care stuff. You can do like fragrance stuff. You can even eat it too. So I see how there's like a lot more options with it. One of my questions was, do you make everything?
I do not make everything. I make a lot of it, and some of it I make 100%, some I make partially, and some I have other people make, just depending on what the product is. I have a very talented guy who's making my candles. I'm real happy with him. Anything, you have to decide where you're going to focus. I make anything like the lip balms, anything that's not going to mold, lip balm salves, sachets, but if it has water in it, it has a propensity to go south. So I get the bases made at a lab that's sterile, and they've got the science of how to formulate this stuff to do it well, and then I bottle it and scent it and label it. So I personalize it for us, but I don't feel comfortable doing. I'm not.
Yeah, you're not a
I'm not
chemistry
skilled.
major.
Yeah, I don't have the clean room and all that. So, and they do great stuff. This lab, like when they make something, I'll call them and say I need this, and they go, well, you have to wait 2 weeks. We're doing a mold check, so we'll let it sit for 2 weeks, and then they'll swab it and check it. So I feel very safe, and I love their products. So it's a combination of the three. It would surprise you what is handmade, because you think, how do you make lip balm? Well, it's not that hard, and that's easy to make. It doesn't, it's all oils and beeswax and butters and stuff, so that would never go bad. So it's an easy.
Talk about the honey.
Oh, yeah. So you want to talk about the honey?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, and then the culinary stuff. Well, I'll segue into the honey. We don't have a certified kitchen, and it's hard being so close to Tennessee, because I could sell in Georgia, but then Tennessee, I can't sell in Tennessee. So it's just easier to have other people provide the things that have to come from a certified kitchen. So that, for the most part, is what we do. And then the honey, we just partnered with Shinbone Valley Bee Company. I kind of gave up on the bees, and they brought the 2 hives over there, and he'll bring some more. And then we've got his honey that we're going to have in the shop too, and he's flavored it with our lavender. He has the lavender, the culinary lavender in the honey.
Can't tell you how many requests we have gotten for lavender honey. So now we have lavender honey.
Yeah, I've never seen lavender honey before. I've seen all sorts of flavors, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, so we have that, and then the honey, and we've got another lady who's going to be up here next week with a little food truck, and she does chai teas with lavender, and we're going to be carrying her products in the store, and then she'll have a little booth. I think she's got iced lavender chai during the U-Picks, so y'all have to try that.
Yeah, definitely.
When you talk about the U-Pick?
Yeah, we can go ahead and
Okay, so for people who come to the U-Pick, how it works, just answer the questions people ask me, which is, do you need to have reservations? No, you don't. You just show up. We tried that one year, but I found that all I was doing was spending time on my computer because rain dates or whatever, and rain checks, and I was like, if it's raining, don't come. Nobody's going to come anyhow. So it's just easier. So we just have you show up. You pay $5 to come in the field. You can stay as long as you want. We limit it by the number of scissors that we have. So when we run out of scissors, we'll put a pause on it. But last year we were fine. It never seemed to get too crowded. How it works is we give you the scissors, show the camera, and you go out and you find the stem you want to cut, and you go down to the base. You don't want to go down into the bushy part, and you clip it and you gather it in your hand. This one's dried. It's going to be greener and purpler than this. When you get about this much, what you want to do is take the thumb hole. Whatever fits qualifies as a bundle, and that is $7. So this would be an official bundle. You'll bring it to us and we'll rubber band it. And the reason we use rubber bands is as this dries, if you did a twist tie or something, these would start to fall out because this shrinks and the twist tie wouldn't. So you want something that's going to shrink as it shrinks.
Oh, okay.
Then we tell our patrons what to do. You don't want to leave it like this because the stems would dry very odd looking. They would be bent down. So if you want it tall and regal, you want to hang it upside down. We usually just take a paper clip and hang it on like a cabinet door or something in a dry room. And in about a week or two, you've got a bundle that'll smell good for years.
Yeah. Have you ever, because my friend that I brought last year, was a florist, and she was telling me, oh yeah, when you dry lavender, she says, mist it with hairspray, like from a distance sort of thing.
Yeah.
To kind of keep the petals from falling off.
That is true, but you lose the smell when you do that.
That's what I was wondering. That's
Yeah.
what I kind of figured.
Yeah. So it depends on if you want it to never shed, you'll spray it with hairspray, and it works. But if you want the aroma, then you wouldn't want to do that. And how you get the aroma to kind of reactivate is if you just give it a little gentle squeeze like that. You want to smell it?
Oh yeah.
So that really does. It's just, I guess, just enough of a crush of the little buds. But this one's pretty good. Sometimes they'll fall off more than this, but this one's a pretty strong one.
Because I guess if you're just using it, if you're just going to like set it in a vase in a room somewhere.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like a table that's getting knocked all the time, they're not really going to fall off anyway.
No, and if it bugs you, yeah, if you want it for visual, you can spray it. If you want it for scent, I wouldn't spray it.
Obviously, as we said, picking dates are basically just for 2 weeks. But your Lab Shack is open Saturdays throughout the summer?
Yeah, so what we've done in the past, and we'll do it again this year, is we're open on Saturdays. And if someone wants to come up and we're not open, give us a call. If we're here, we don't mind. I mean, we're here. So
You're not in
it's
Atlanta
fine.
anymore?
No.
Right.
No, but like today somebody wanted to come. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm 30 minutes away. I can't be there. So, if I'm not here, I'm not here. If I am here, that's fine. But we promise we'll be here from 11 to 4 on Saturdays. And that will go through the yard sale. Do you know that? The longest yard sale? You need
That
to get
comes
that.
through here?
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was
Yeah.
connected to here.
Yeah,
Because I know it's
right down-
127, but
it
I
goes,
didn't know.
It goes through here and then down towards Mentone. So we're open through that, and then we shut down after that because it gets kind of slow, and then we want to go on a vacation too. So,
Right.
and then we'll reopen for, like holidays. I don't know if we'll have a plant sale this fall. We've done it in the past.
Still got plenty of plants to sell for.
Yeah, we'll see what we have
Season.
left. Yeah, we do have a lot of plants. Everybody asks about plants and honey, but plants more than anything. We do
With
have plants.
planting instructions this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of planting, I noticed on your website, you don't have a whole lot of info on it, but you do mention like the Lavender 101 class or whatever. So is that like, do you have like a class schedule for that, or is that just kind of...
So I've done it. Last year I didn't do it because of COVID, but how it works is it's an intimate group. This year we limited to 10. You get a plant and you get, I call it Lavender Helper. It's kind of our secret sauce that we mix in with the plants. It helps with the drainage and pH. You have a curriculum, and we'll sit down for 2 hours and just talk about how to grow lavender. We'll go from, site selection to how to actually plant it, problems you might have with it, how to prune it, how to propagate it. So it's a pretty...
Sounds like it's
It's a
pretty
deep,
Yeah.
it's a
in-depth.
deep, it's a deep dive.
To
and it's
spend,
for people that
spend 2 hours on
It's
just
a
lavender.
little geeky. But
But gardeners, people that really
Right.
want to
Oh, yeah.
make
right,
it,
right.
make sure they cover all the bases, it's
Oh,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect setup.
So
for that.
you get a handout, you get a plant, and you get the soil conditioner with that.
Probably one of the best things about it is we get to spend time with people who really care
Yeah, yeah.
lavender, and that the people we've met, it's really been probably the
Yeah.
most special thing about doing this.
Yeah.
And
like
the community
shared,
that kind of rallies around lavender is a
people like
fun
you.
group of people.
yeah, like the shared passion behind lavender. Now I'm not as passionate about lavender as you guys are.
No, but just interesting people. I mean, we have met people we would have never met had we not done this. I would have
Right.
never met you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
And we had to abruptly stop because it started raining on us. So I went ahead and finished my chat with them off camera, off recording, and I wanted to go ahead and while we were on the topic of the Lavender 101 classes, I went ahead and asked them when they do that, and it's usually the end of April, sometimes in September, just kind of depending on how things go. And how you find out about it? Well, they'll advertise it on social media, so their Instagram page or their Facebook page and their email list. So you'll have to sign up for their email list if you want to find out about that. And you do need to really be paying attention or be on their email list because she says it fills up very quickly. Like there's a high demand for this class, which is totally understandable since it's a good in-depth 2-hour long class about lavender and how to plant it, things to look out for. I mean, you heard, like, it's a good class. And then, as I always ask my fellow Chattanooga business owners what their future plans are. And they actually have quite a few future plans, lots that they want to do with the property. One of the things they want to do is get involved in the WOOF program, and that's WWOOF, and that stands for Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. And she explained that it was basically like an Airbnb for farmers. What it is people that want to learn about farming, they can stay with them, and then they also help on the farm. So they'll help, grow the lavender and all the farm duties that need to be done. And then at the same time, they can learn about how to grow lavender themselves. So it's kind of like a I help you, you help me sort of situation. It sounds really cool. First time I've heard about that program. So if you're curious about it, look it up. And again, that is Wolf, WWOOF. And then another thing they are getting involved in, Equip, which is EQIP, and that is a government program that stands for Environmental Quality Incentives Program. And what that does is provides financial and technical assistance to farmers, and with that, they're going to be able to create a better nursery, basically, for their baby lavender plants. One of the biggest troubles they're having right now is finding a place to allow their baby lavender to grow during the colder months and incubate. To keep them like in a warm place and control the humidity, things like that. And they're having trouble finding the space to do that. But with Equip, they will be able to build basically a greenhouse for the lavender so that they'll be able to produce more lavender plants. And there's 2 barns on their property, and of course it's on their list to renovate those, and they've got all sorts of plans with those. And eventually maybe Alice was saying she would love to be able to host concerts on their property because it would be a nice setting, and it's so true. Like, it's so serene out there. Like, it would be a beautiful concert venue. That's about it as far as like the farm goes. I really enjoyed getting to talk with Alice and Bill, and I want to thank them again for allowing me the opportunity to do this and to be able to get more of an inside scoop on their business and share it with y'all. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see y'all next week.